Right now, I can't do much for myself, which is hard because in America, I was a fully functional adult living alone and completely supporting myself. But here, I have maybe the skills of an 8-year-old, but not a Vietnamese 8-year-old because kids here have mad life skills. Xin chào các bạn, mình là Brooklyn Day. Hi everyone, my name's Brooklyn. For everything in life, there are things to love and not to love. The same is true of my life here in Vietnam. I want to start with 2 disclaimers first. The things I love about my life here, I can appreciate because my life in America was not characterized by those things, but that might not necessarily be true for all Americans. And the things I don't like may be only specific to my area in Vietnam or the specific lifestyle I have chosen. As always, thank you guys for watching and appreciating my stories on this channel. If these are interesting to you, please like and subscribe so you can continue to hear more. All right, let's get into it. Here are 6 things I like and 3 things I do not like about my life here in Vietnam. First off, I love how there are people everywhere. Though I am more introverted than extroverted, I still always want there to be signs of life and people around me. Even when I purposefully go into my room to be alone, I still look out the window to see people walking and riding on the streets below me. When I go on a solitary walk, I love how I get to say hello to the guards. When we go out to restaurants, I love how the room is full of people and the street is busy with passerbys. Last year, when my now husband returned to America so we could get married, I remember him longingly looking out the window and saying, "Where are the people? I miss seeing all the people." And I get it now. And people here are so full of life. The people know how to make the most of life and enjoy it, no matter what position they are in. I primarily see this when I see the people just outside their apartment building. Grandparents are perfectly content to sit on the step and watch their small grandchildren play on the few pieces of playground equipment. In the parking lot, school-aged children play badminton or makeshift pickleball with their parents. High schoolers strut around the block or ride their bicycles with their friends. And college students find a private bench to sit on with their boyfriends or girlfriends. As I see all of this, I think to myself, Americans are just inside too much. The second thing I've been loving is all of the options for public transportation. The motorbike is really convenient to get different places, but we are not limited to only the motorbike. There are other options like a bee taxi or Grab, to the bus, to the metro. When I lived in an Asian country before, it was primarily men who drove personal vehicles. The buses were dirty. I had to negotiate in a foreign language to get a rickshaw or tuk-tuk, and there was no hope of a metro being finished anytime soon. I wasn't sure of what to expect for transportation in Hanoi, but it has been freeing to have so many different options to choose from. And the next 5 to 10 years will bring many more welcome changes for us in Hanoi. For now, though, I just have to get more confident driving myself around on the motorbike. Now, since we're talking about public transportation, we have to talk about the hot topic of air pollution. Now, I know that pollution is a natural byproduct of a country that's growing so fast, but this is just something that has to be improved upon. The other day, we were headed to our local gym, and we turned from the small back road onto the crowded main road. And as I took my next breath, I immediately felt heaviness in my chest. I should have scurried to put on my mask, but we were just so close to our destination that I didn't. I have a friend who, ever since she moved here from Canada, every night as she lays down to go to sleep, she coughs incessantly. Masks and air purifiers and doctors have not helped. It's reasons like this I've made my husband promise me that every few months we will get out of the city to get some fresh air and reset. I'm thankful that it's relatively easy to take trips like this. As for a third thing I've loved here, of course I have benefited from the excellent customer service, specifically the lengthy consultations that employees give to customers. Every time we go to a restaurant, I'm shocked at how long my husband will talk with the waiter, asking questions about different dishes. Every time, they've been so patient, giving good answers and suggestions. You see, in America, whenever we go to restaurants, we try to order as quickly as possible so as to not be a bother to the employees. Another example of this is my time at the dentist office. Shout out to Parkway Dental. If I went to a similar place in America, the consultation would be quick, probably 10 minutes max, and we would still be trying to ask questions as the doctor was already halfway out the door. But not at Parkway. They gave us a lengthy consultation, probably about an hour, answering all our questions and waiting patiently as my husband translated everything back to me in English. I have to say, I don't always go easy on medical professionals. My background is in healthcare, so I can be skeptical and ask a lot of questions to make sure everything is just right. But in the midst of this, they were so eager to help and answer all our questions. Jumping to a fourth thing I love, we have to talk about the vast array of coffee shops at all price ranges. But even the cheap ones are decent quality. I'm that girl who has to have a cup of coffee every day, so having so many options is a big plus for me. The other day, I was on the phone with my sister who lives on the East Coast of America. She works at a local coffee shop there and says that most people's coffees cost $7, which is the equivalent of 150,000 dong. Upon hearing this, I immediately turned to my husband and said, "Babe, we can't move back to America. It's just too dang expensive for my taste." But here, whether it's a small coffee shop or a big one, not only is it affordable, but they take time honing in on their craft, doing that one thing very well. Whereas in the States, I feel like often shops spread themselves too thin and end up not doing anything very well. As for another thing I dislike, Even though I was actually prepared for it, I just can't get over the heat. It's hard for an American who was from a place where we get a foot of snow or 30 centimeters of snow in the winter to jump to Southeast Asian heat. It's just a whole new level. In America, we look forward to summer all winter long. We dream of it, holding on to it for hope through the long winter months. We write bucket lists of things we will do in the summer. Things like going on family vacations, getting a tan, going for walks or hikes on the trail, gardening, and so many other things. There's so many things I would have done this summer had I been there. But here in Vietnam, the heat is dangerously hot. The UV index is poison, and during the peak of summer, we try to stay inside as much as possible. I'm used to American summers outside in the green area, often going for walks in parks. But around where I live here, there's not very many green areas or parks around, which is all the more reason to convince my husband to take that trip soon and get out of the city. But I love the lifestyle here. In America, a lot of people seem kind of robotic, very tied to their routines and plans. This isn't always a bad thing, as it can provide a nice structure and stability for life. But I feel like all too often we prioritize plans over people. I like the alternate lifestyle here. So far, it seems like people here are more flexible, making it easier to get to know people and make plans. I attribute this to the communal culture. I found there's so many young, ambitious people in Hanoi. I've been getting to know some young adults from my church and becoming friends with them. I have a lot to learn from their work ethic. In America, it seems like the young people who are ambitious and career-minded seem to view their career as a burden and don't know how to manage work and life balance very well. I loved my career as a nurse in America, but I didn't have very many young coworkers as peers, or at least the peers I did have didn't seem to enjoy their job very well. But here it seems different. Even if people's careers aren't their utmost passion in life, they are still trying to learn and improve in their job. My life in Hanoi has been overwhelmingly positive. It's easy to see a future here. But all good things come with a cost. There have been hard things about living here, but I recognize that I would encounter most of these very same hard things if I was living in any other foreign country. Right now, I can't do much for myself, which is hard because in America, I was a fully functional adult, living alone and completely supporting myself. But here, I have maybe the skills of an 8-year-old, but not a Vietnamese 8-year-old because kids here have mad life skills. I don't know how to navigate places. I don't know which places to go. If I were to go to a store, I don't know how to ask people for help, and I don't even know what to cook. All of those small things. And even if I could do those things, I don't really know the culture and customs, so I could easily do something that makes myself look silly. Until a week ago, I wasn't confident enough to drive myself places on the motorbike. But I have now been doing that. I can take myself to a coffee shop or the gym or a local grocery store. All the essentials. And I celebrate this small victory. Today, I am so proud of myself for doing that. And I will use this pride as a motivation to keep learning all of the small and big things. And in a few years, I'll have a large list of all of the things I used to not be able to do, but will then be second nature for me. All these things take time, but I know I'll get there. And you guys will be with me all along the way. Okay, thank you guys for watching and listening to my story. That's all for now. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video.